And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. We're going back to basics. My partner in crime has returned. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, this is Triple M here, and I got the splatter shot ready, but this is more of a shooting for the victories.
All right. And of course, you know me, Mr. Red Fox, and it's time to get into it. But before we do, I just want to say last week we did not have a BS Busters because of scheduling concerns with another member of our community. I didn't want to step on his toes, but you know, shit happens. You live and you learn. But from henceforth, BS Busters will be 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So without much ado, let's get into it. Triple M, you have some topics you wanted to bring up when this was still going to be a negative cast, but, you know, I mean, you have some valid topics to bring up, so go ahead. Do it.
Oh, man. You know what? I did have some valid some topics that I wanted to bring forth, but there was one that I can only remember for now. It was about these videos that keep popping up on YouTube that says a good Sonic game. No, finally a good Sonic game, Sonic Mania, in 20/23 years, and I was like, really? Then the few good games that came during those years don't exist?
You mean Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic CD, Sonic Rush, Sonic Advance 2, Sonic Advance 3. Those are actually good games, but they don't exist. You're right.
Yeah. So it for some reason, when I saw those videos, and there was quite a lot of them, it reminded me what happened just a year ago with IGN when they were talking about the Sonic franchise, including the one person I despise that's in the Nintendo voice chat for
Brian Altano.
Exactly. I was about to name him, but yeah, you hit the hammer on the head, or more like you hit the sledgehammer on the head.
Well, I mean, here's what I'll say about Brian Altano. Okay. Brian Altano comes across as a very rough individual. He has a very abrasive personality. At least in the Nintendo voice chat, like from what I've seen of him on IGN, he has a very abrasive personality. You can say certain things in such a way without alienating people. Like the sentiment, like I think the thing that you're kind of like, well, he kind of went too far was when he said Sonic has never had good games. I disagree with that assertion. Sonic has good games. Now, if you were to say Sonic's games, the best Sonic game doesn't stack compared to the best Mario game, in my opinion, you'd be correct. But you have to remember, Mario was designed as Mario games are designed as good games first, and the mascot came afterwards. Sonic was designed as a mascot first, and the gameplay came afterwards. So basically, there's always going to be that detriment to a Sonic game versus to a Mario game where it's all about the gameplay. It's the reason why the New Super Mario Brothers series exists. Even the weakest New Super Mario Brothers game, which arguably is 2, you can't say the gameplay is shit. You know?
Yeah. But you know what? And I would have let it go just that. But then in the recent, well, not the recent NVC, but he basically flip-flopped, contradicted himself by saying that he liked the Sonic games, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you said in that other cast that Sonic games were never good. So, Brian, stick with one thing, please, brother. Could you stick with one thing, because you're really pissing me off like this?
Well, I mean, like I said, Brian Altano has a very abrasive personality. For those of you who are watching, we're actually I am looking at the chat section. So if you guys have something to say, if you have a question, ask them in the chat. We'll try and answer them sometime in the future. But during this, I mean, we'll try to answer them at the end of the cast. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not what you say; it's how you say it. Like, you know,
Yep.
I mean, there are good Sega games. There are even good Sega games that came out when Sega left the hardware market. Like I said, the Sonic Advance games, those were on Game Boy Advance. Sonic Rush, which was on the DS, those are good 2D Sonic games. Now, 3D Sonic games, we can have an argument about. I don't mind rolling up my sleeves and having a fight and saying that I don't think the Sonic game, the 3D Sonic games, have never really been, in my opinion, great. They've been.
I would say to you, you actually wanted to have a Sonic game that kind of plays that kind of plays like a Mario game, and I know, well, to me, I know that's never going to happen because, for one, vastly different game. For a character like this, it's going to be vastly different for the exploration that you wanted the copy of the Mario game. Now,
Well,
granted, it can be done, but
well, it's not so much that. It's not so much that. It's just like every other 2D character has had their big 3D, like 2D mainstay characters had their 3D. This is what we can do in a massive 3D world. Except for Sonic, like old school mascot, like Mario had his, Link had his, Samus had hers. And I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I mean, because basically, if people want to understand what is the premise of a Sonic game, like how could you make a Sonic game into a 3D world with exploration? We've done it. Go play Jack and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank. Take that gameplay and then have one character who can run really fast. Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, wouldn't it be cool to have Sonic be on Mobius, which is the world that he's from, and like actually have him doing stuff? Like, I mean, basically kind of like what they tried to do with Sonic Lost World, but they rushed it out the door and it was a broken piece of shit. But that was actually on the right track in terms of, you know.
Yeah, just needs some polish, and actually the mechanics that stick the landing. Just go with that and amplified, not amplified. I mean something else.
But I mean, I do think that Sonic has to change in its 3D device, because how many times can we have a Sega game where basically you're just running around, like it feels like you're running around an obstacle course in a 3D Sonic game. Oh, you better dodge those spikes. Oh, use the homing attack to go across this pit while hitting enemies. Oh, use this QTE event to jump on these pillars. Oh shit, you're being chased by a truck. Or
I wouldn't mind that. It's just that Sega keep using
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if 3D Sonic games only had one or two of these sequences, like big set piece, you're running away from something, that'd be cool. Like I said, if they did an open world Sonic game, like gave Sonic his Mario 64, where they took the mechanics of the character in 2D and translated them well into 3D, and you had a sequence where like Sonic is outrunning an avalanche, or there's a building that's exploding from the bottom down, and Sonic has to outrun the explosion to the bottom and get away from the fallout. That'd be fucking awesome, and that would make sense to have Sonic dodging stuff and running away from stuff. That would make sense. That would be a cool set piece. But every goddamn game is like 80, like not 80, but like 50% of the game are these sequences. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I've tried. I've really tried.
I would actually agree with you on that one.
But I'm not gonna be like Brian Altano. Man, Sonic never had good games. Okay, wait, you've gone too far, bro. I was with you until you. Well, actually, I was never with you, but I could kind of see your point until you went that far. And then I was like, hey, man, you've crossed a line, sir.
That pissed off a lot of people. Yeah. Also, there's another. I still can't remember what I wanted to bring up, but there's actually news that Capcom. You know, this one I really can't. I really can't be that angry because I knew this type of answer was coming. When some journalists actually asked if they're going to if there's any plans of the second Mega Man collection, and they basically said no. Right at this current time, we do not have any plans for it to coming on the Switch. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. That's actually a fine answer that I can live with.
Yeah, yeah. You know what else I can live with? I can live with that game bombing on everything else. I can live with it bombing on the Xbox One. I can live with it bombing on the PS4. I can live with it bombing on the PC. Which is, I mean, come on, man. We know that's what's going to happen. Capcom, you know, I'm going to get a little raw with this analogy. Capcom is like a man who goes to his doctor and he says, doctor, my dick hurts. And the doctor's like, well, what happened? Why does your dick hurt? Well, whenever I get an erection, I take my dick and I put it in, I open this cabinet door and I put it where the cabinet door meets and I slam the cabinet door on the dick.
Come on.
And the doctor's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you hurting yourself? Well, you know, that's what I've always done. And basically, like, Capcom right now is that guy slamming a cabinet door on their private parts and acting surprised that it hurts. And it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you doing this to you? Why? Like, I won't be surprised if Capcom either does massive restructuring the next 5 years or goes out of business. They're making some really stupid ass decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, when the best version of Mega Man that we've had in modern gaming was on the Wii U and Smash Brothers, that's embarrassing. And here's the thing. Really? Mega Man isn't Nintendo's mascot. Mega Man is Capcom's mascot.
It's just that it's closely associated to Nintendo. So, yeah, that's
Mega Man's been on everything. Mega Man was originally on the NES, then he went to the SNES and the Sega, and PC even, and then they put them on the PlayStation and the Game Boy Advance and the Sega Saturn. I think there was a Mega Man game on the Sega Saturn. Don't hold me to that. And the PS2 and the GameCube. Like, the only system that it doesn't make sense to have a Mega Man game on is an Xbox. Because, I mean, Mega Man's a Japanese style game. Why would, like, the Xbox is where Japanese games go to die. You got a game, you want to see, you're a Japanese developer, you want to see a game die, go to the Xbox.
You know, unless they totally do a totally revamp of Mega Man, like what they did with
Bomberman Zero.
No, I'll go even further. Let's just say, if a Mega Man game has to sell well on an Xbox machine, it has the aestheticness of the game has to look different enough that it's basically Americanized, almost in the same aestheticness that what they did with the first Mega Man game box art for the West. Yeah, I'm going there. I would say that's the only way that most of the Xbox gamers would.
Sorry. Yeah, that's about it. And even then, they still wouldn't buy it because, like, I mean, we've already seen Xbox fans do not buy certain styles of games. I mean, if you don't believe me, go look at Recore. That game bombed. So, I mean,
which begs the question why they would do a 4K, was it a 4K version of Recore?
Yeah, they're doing a re-release of Recore that's been optimized for the Xbox One, and the first game bombed. Like, I'm like, why are you brain damaged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, from a business perspective, yeah, that's actually a great choice because you don't have to do that. Yeah, you don't have to do much with it. Just upscale it to 4K and boom, there you have it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not just an upscale. It's being upscaled to be optimized to run on the Xbox One X, or from henceforth the triple Xbox, because it's dirty. Sorry, and it like a character that's on the box art of Recore that's not in the first game because it was rushed to completion is going to be in this one. So it's going to have some extra content with the new character and like one new ability that should have been in the original game. So I mean, there's going to be a little upgrade. But here's the thing: everyone who wants to buy Recore already bought this fucking game. They're not, like, I mean, look, listen, I don't know a lot of Xbox One fans, or people who really own, but anyone I know who has an Xbox One, I'm pretty sure they aren't like, man, I can't wait for that second Recore. Gotta have that shit.
To be honest, I would be surprised if Recore will get the same situation that The Last of Us had with the PS4 remake, or was it remaster? A bunch of them just rebought the new package. So if the Xbox division is lucky enough to have that happen to them, I would say good on you. That was a risky choice, but it seems like it paid off. But I am really.
You want to know something? Microsoft and Capcom have something in common with my analogy of the dude who keeps on slamming his privates into with a cabinet door. Especially when it comes to Microsoft and their Xbox division. So that's all I'll say about that. Hey, stop slamming your privates in a cabinet door. Just don't do it. But anything else you want to bring up before we move on to the main topic of the podcast?
Not really. Maybe something else going to pop up in my head, but it's probably not going to happen now. So,
all right. So the main topic, initially this podcast, as you may or may not know, was going to be about us telling various companies to kiss our asses. You know, EA, fuck you. Microsoft's Xbox division, go fuck yourself. Shit. Kotaku, you eat shit. But I decided, with all of the negativity going on in this world today, let's be positive. So instead we're going to talk about third-party games that we liked, that were influential, third-party mascots that we liked, that were influential. So that means no first-party mascots, no Sonic, no
Japanese third-party games,
no Bonk. No, it can't be, as long as it's not first-party. Then you can use it. First or second party. It's got to be third party, but that's the only caveat. So you can say Shantae, who's oddly hot. Shantae is oddly hot. She's oddly hot. It's like, oh, she's oddly hot. Shantae, you can say the robots from SteamWorld, all of them, because they're all part of the thing. I always have a soft spot in my heart for Rusty, though. You could say Bob from Bob the Robot, the Lost Vikings.
Oh yeah.
You could say hell. You could even say Crash Bandicoot in his later years because he's a third-party character now. So, I mean, you know.
Well, technically, Crash was never a first-party franchise to begin with.
Yeah, but he was like initially he was more second-party, but now he's just straight-up third-party. But Spyro used to be owned by Sony, and then they sold him off because they were losing so much money. But that's neither here nor there. So basically, we're going to talk about. So those of you in the chat, put up some of your favorite third-party characters who aren't first-party that you like,
or even the games in the franchise,
or games in the franchise. Okay, K-On Nintendo, you completed Dragon Quest XI a week ago. K-On, can you even read Japanese? Were you just like blowing through text?
Yeah, well, he probably found fan translations.
Not for that game. There isn't a fan translation for Dragon Quest.
Oh, really? This one doesn't. It doesn't have one yet.
Dragon Quest XI just came out like a month ago, like 2 months ago. I mean,
So
and it's.
I'm being facetious, but
yeah, it's text heavy. There's no unless he reads Japanese. Which K-On Nintendo, do you read Japanese?
If
you read Japanese.
If you do, mad props to you because I still suck at mine.
Yeah, let me put it this way. I know just enough Japanese to know where the bathrooms are, how much stuff costs, how much I have to pay, and where a hospital is and where the bank's at and the post office. That's it. Okay. And not that I'm saying it, I'm like reading it. Oh, that's the post office. But yeah. So yeah, anyone have any suggestions, or shall we just dive into it? You want to go first, Triple M?
Yeah, since for some reason I can't think too much of them, even though I do. There was something I do like, but I would start with the Western side of companies, like well, you guys heard me saying bring back Command and Conquer that a bunch of times that you probably lost count. So yes, even though this company is defunct right now, but Westwood Studios.
All right.
They were great with Command and Conquer, and then even come to realize that yes, they have made more games than just Command and Conquer, which I'm actually surprised that they created the Dune series. It's actually a pretty good one too. But yeah, since they were acquired by you know who, so
the devil.
I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah. Also, another one which is acquired by the same devil, but I digress on that. Black Box Studios, which the first time I actually heard about them when I played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 for the PlayStation 2, because they were the ones who made the PS2 versions, which is I have to say it's the better version than the GameCube and the Xbox, even though the Xbox was actually much more powerful than the PS2. But I digress about that neither here or there. Then the third one would be Lucasfilm Games, which is now
LucasArts.
Yeah,
just LucasArts, straight up LucasArts. Yeah, they made a lot of really good shit back in the day.
Oh yes, and one that you definitely disagree with me with, which I actually liked.
What game? What?
It was Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which
What, Pod Racer?
yes, Pod Racer.
Well, no, it's not that Pod Racers is a bad game. I just didn't like it. It's not. I mean, it was perfectly serviceable. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. Like Pod Racer was a perfectly serviceable, licensed game. It's just, it's like, I don't know. You know, Phantom Menace ruined everything for everyone. You know what I mean? Phantom Menace basically, like, okay, let me put it this way. I thought Phantom Menace was one of the worst films ever. And then Attack of the Clones came out. And then Revenge of the Sith came out. And I was like, we're finished with this trilogy, thank God. I was like, well, you know, at least we'll be done with Star Wars, we can rest. And then they did The Force Awakens, and I was like, man, I really wish I could go back to that innocent time where I thought Phantom Menace was terrible. and I know people are going to hate me, but at least I mean people who are huge fans of Star Wars. Look, listen, I understand. But here's the thing, okay? Phantom Menace is not a good movie. Neither is Attack of the Clones. Neither is Revenge of the Sith. But I'll say this much. They're different movies from A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. At least George Lucas didn't treat Star Wars fans like idiots and say, hey, we're going to give you the exact same movie with slightly different characters.
Oh, gosh, dude.
But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, you're right. LucasArts gave us some really good games. They gave us those Lost Adventure games like Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacle.
Sam and Max.
There was Sam and Max.
Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango with Tim Schafer, which is why, even though people love to talk shit about Tim Schafer, fuck you, the man paid his dues. He can be as eccentric as he wants to be. Plus, his games are generously good.
I will say now that he is not talking the bull crap recently. Finally, my disappointment is fading away from him. So,
well, I mean, the thing is this. I mean, look, these people make games. They're not politicians. They're not world leaders. They make video games, and I mean, they're people who've made games who are pretty fucked up individuals that I still enjoy their games. Generally speaking, except for none of them come to my mind right now, but I still enjoy their games. Like I said, for me, Fez was just not a very good game. I like the idea behind Fez, but the actual game, I was like, eh. But you know, Phil Fish is kind of a d-bag, but his games is the one game he did. There was that other game, but that game kind of was divisive, you know.
Oh crap! I forgot that one.
But yeah, LucasArts made some really good games. Sheogorath, Metal Mint gives us some characters. Yin Yang Yao says Spyro, the Team Fortress 2 crew. Okay, cool. Metal Mint, Tally, Morden, and Grunt from Mass Effect. Yeah, they are pretty badass, Metal Mint. Sheogorath from Elder Scrolls. Oh yeah. Sheogorath, especially Sheogorath from Elder Scrolls Oblivion, with in the Shivering Isles, where he's like, "Now come back, or I'll pluck out your eyes." Hong Guy from Dynasty Warriors. I don't know who that is, but I don't really play Dynasty Warriors games. Frank West from Dead Rising. Oh yeah, Frank West is pretty awesome. Not my personal favorite, but I can see why people would like him.
Dude gets the job done.
Yeah.
Or at least he tries.
Yeah, he tries really hard, and he doesn't always succeed. Like, that's the whole point about Dead Rising, is that you die so many times. It's like, wow, Frank, you suck. But you get to keep your stuff if you make it to the safe house. Rayman, subtract the rabbits. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I don't like the rabbit.
Yeah, I was about to go with that one too.
Yeah, I don't. For some reason, the Rabbids just I don't like them. Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series, all the characters from Baten Kaitos. You're right. Shina Fujibayashi and Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. Man, we are on the same wavelength here, man. Because Shina Fujibayashi was unnecessarily hot too. I was like, well, you know, if shit doesn't work out with dumbass Colette, man, you need to get with Sheena. And Ace Gunner from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I haven't played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I'll take your word for it. You love J1TM says you love Dynasty Warriors Red Fox. I know it. Actually, I don't.
He hasn't found the right Dynasty Warrior games.
I've tried. Like even Hyrule Warriors really doesn't do anything for me. Dragon Quest Warriors, I try. It doesn't do anything for me.
What about the One Piece game?
I'm getting into that. It might do something for me, but probably not. Did you see the Yakuza game? The Yakuza guys are making a Fist of the North Star game. Yes,
yeah, he saw it. He's the first.
Yes, I did, and I shared it. I was like, "This is a reason to buy a PS4. If they bring it over, I'm gonna get that game. I'm totally gonna get that fucking game because listen, Yakuza is one of the few beat 'em ups we have. You guys know I'm a beat 'em up fanboy, and the guy who does the voice for Kazuma Kiryu is doing the voice for Kenshiro for Fist of the North Star. They showed the trailer. It has so many scenes from Fist of the North Star, like Kenshiro versus Double Reverse and Shin and Shogi. Oh my God! Now see, never mind. This is neither here nor there. But yeah, if that game comes over, I will get a PS4 just for that game and the other Yakuza games. World Warriors, a Street Fighter, Yin Yang Yao. Yeah, they are pretty cool. But there's only one who's the king of the World Warriors Street Fighter, and it's not Ryu. It's Guile.
Guile.
Yeah, he's so badass. I forgot when I thought it was Shenmue from Marquee. It was really the Yakuza series. Yeah. Yakuza, like everyone thinks Shenmue is so awesome, but I'm like, Yakuza trumps Shenmue in every way. It's got a better combat system, better characters, better story, better voice acting.
Okay. How about like this? How do you compare between the first game of Shenmue and the first game of Yakuza?
It's night and day.
Yakuza
Shenmue. Like, here's the thing: Shenmue is like, okay, they tried to do an action adventure beat 'em up, but they doubled down to and Shenmue has a sequence where you have to get a job and you literally. The Dreamcast, you have to actually literally get up at like 5 o'clock till you go to your job whenever your schedule is and literally do that shit for like 5 hours. It's the most boring. I'm like, fuck you, Sega. Like I play video games to escape from reality, not immerse myself into it. And they kind of, but then you get the first Yakuza where like there's a scene in the first Yakuza where like the fighting is much better in Yakuza. Like in Shenmue, the fighting was you would press a directional button and Ryu would I think that was his name, Ryu would attack in that direction. So like if you did the little code at the end of Shenmue where you would basically have this massive fight in the temple, and you could like fight to your heart's content, it was shit. It's like whatever. But Yakuza, you have your heat moves, which is brilliant because the heat moves are context sensitive. So I can grab a dude, drag him near a wall, use a heat move, smash his face into the wall. A dude's lying on the ground, use a heat move, curb stomp him. Oh snap! Heat moves are awesome. They're lovely. But yeah, like Yakuza is basically like the better Shenmue. And the story is more engaging. Tri-Ace of the Star Ocean series, from Ares 73. Bayonetta, Metal Mint says Bayonetta. Yin Yang Yao, JoJo wished he was as much groove like from Fist of the North Star. You're right. Another one from Yin Yang Yao, The Light Warriors of Final Fantasy. Yeah, yeah. Even though, I mean, the Final Fantasy character, the Light Warriors from the first Final Fantasy really didn't have much of a personality. I mean, the characters from Final Fantasy 2 and 3 had more personality than the first ones, who were just basically templates. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still. I finally came back.
All right, yeah, but yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. So yeah,
Now,
I mean,
did anyone mention? Oh crap! I forgot this developer's name. He was the one that did Epic Mickey.
Warren Spector.
Yes, Mr. Spector.
Yeah, Warren Spector is. I mean, like Warren Spector's a legend. Like everyone's always like, "Oh man, you only praise Japanese developers." No, no, I praise developers who pay their dues and aren't pretentious assholes. So Hideo Kojima is out. Hideo Kojima is a pretentious asshole. The guy who for years did Ninja Gaiden, he's an asshole. I don't like that guy. He's such a Itagaki, Tomonobu Itagaki. Itagaki's overrated as hell. His games, like his Ninja Gaiden games, aren't good because they're good. People like them because they have a level of unfair difficulty. It's not because they're good games, quote unquote good games. And I don't think a game that's just unnecessarily difficult can be categorized as being good. A good game has to be good from start to finish.
At least in some semblance of a way that has something like that. It's tough enough to get into, but oh crap! I can't believe I can't believe I lost it. Okay, tough enough to get into, but still lenient enough that it's fair that you can succeed in things.
Exactly. Like everyone's always like, oh man, you don't like hard games. No, I love Devil May Cry, even the new DMC. I love Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, and even Beautiful Joe. Those games have a steep difficulty curve, but like once you get good at them, if you die, it's your fault. It's not because they just threw too much shit at me. It's because you missed a time, you missed a dodge, or you weren't familiar with the enemy's patterns. Ninja Gaiden is cheap as fuck. Yeah. There's a like on the harder difficulties, which you have to do if you want to get like the best endings and unlock everything. There's like one of the first bosses can one-shot you with a nunchuck hit. That's some bullshit. I'm sorry. That is fuck you, Tomonobu Itagaki.
I don't know. Even though I myself find that was overkill, but for some reason that's the one thing that kind of put that realism in that game that that you're going to be in a situation that if you don't, as in if you're in a real fight, if you don't pay attention to what you do or what's coming at you, you get knocked the F out. But
yeah, but this isn't even like that realism. It's just someone making a game unnecessarily hard just for the sake of making it unnecessarily hard.
Yeah.
Because Beautiful Joe was like that. Beautiful Joe had certain enemies that if you didn't know their pattern and you didn't know how to dodge their attacks, they would wipe you out. But it's like, okay, I understand why that happened. Ninja Gaiden is just cheap. Like there's certain enemies you can only even do damage to is if you use a really complicated special attacks. And it's like, what the? No, I'm done. Fuck you, Itagaki. So, I mean, basically, you said all the ones I wanted to say, except for one. Everyone's missing this one. And I'll give you a hint who he is. Groovy!
No, wait a minute. Is that no? That's not Earthworm Jim, right?
I know you got it. It's Earthworm Jim.
It was Earthworm Jim.
Groovy.
Man, it's been a long time since I've played that game, but yeah, that definitely that's nostalgia. That is nostalgia.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim needs to be brought back. and that this kind of leads into my second topic. Devil Ho from Devil Joe. Metal Mint says Devil Joe from Monster Hunter. I told you I don't play Monster Hunter. I don't know who these people are. Trinell83 says Shadow, Locke, Cole, Tara Branford from Final Fantasy VI. Yeah, you're also forgetting Gal, Edgar, Sabine. All those characters were memorable. And Yin Yang Yao says Jim. He's dead, Jim. No, but what 2D mascot character, third-party mascot character needs to be brought back? With Bubsy coming back, that piece of shit. Who needs to be brought back now?
You know, with Bubsy, I'll give it a benefit of the doubt since it's been so long that he's been that he had his own game, and even though the last one was atrocious at that.
Well, the thing is that none of the Bubsy games were ever any good anyway. So, I mean, look, it only took Bubsy like 26 years to actually get a good game. Maybe this one will be good. Maybe.
So now I'm actually what can go wrong?
Everything, Bubsy.
Yeah. I really didn't want to say that, but hey, you did it. But yeah, I would say if they're actually going to do this with a brand new start and everything, it could go both ways. It could actually be a really good game or a really bad one, but who knows? Let's see. So, 2D characters, 2D platforming characters, right?
Well, it could be any mascot character, but I'm choosing Earthworm Jim. That's the character I'm saying needs to be brought back is Earthworm Jim. Because it'd be perfect.
Dang it! I actually wanted to choose that one too, but okay. Let's see. See if I can remember.
Sparkster.
That's a good choice, but I was actually thinking of Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, but they are being brought back now. They're making a new one. Yeah.
They're actually making a new game of Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, they're making a new one. It's going to be on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and it might come to the Switch, maybe, because that's how it is with Nintendo. If you own a Nintendo system, you might get a game, maybe.
I would say it's never going to come until I see a release date or an announcement.
You're like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. It's been too long that I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to hold my breath up until I see it on black and white. But I digress. Okay, so since Toe Jam and Earl's already been taken, I would say
Ristar. No, Ristar was first party.
Yeah, not Ristar.
You could always do Sparkster from Rocket Knight. Plock.
Now, this is very obscure. The one,
okay.
Because and it's from a Sega game, but I would be just generally surprised and and interested if they actually made a flicky game. I mean, yeah, they can go simplistic as they can get with this one.
Maybe
go further than that.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I thought you'd go with Dynamite Heady before Flicky, but go ahead. Why not?
Yeah, because here's the reason why I chose Flicky, because now that I'm actually seeing Nintendo is actually using recurrent characters that I thought that would never be playable since Super Mario Bros. 2, which is Toad.
Toad.
So yeah, since they're basically residents of the Mushroom Kingdoms, I was like, you know what? What about the residents of the Sonic games, which is the Animal Friends, and Flicky could be a good one. I mean, sure, I could see Sega making animals of the other animal friends, like the pigs, the birds, let's say the chickens. But I digress. But yeah, I really wouldn't mind seeing that, because that would be like I could see something that they could use for this particular game with these characters, with what they've done with the whole child games, like how they did with a Tamagotchi. But
I could see that.
Yeah, but instead of actually raising one, you are the animal friends. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Because I really do feel like, okay, Sega, you're making all these Sonic games. You're not even making the spin-off with the other characters. Now I am really interested to see if they're actually if they're actually creative to make a game about the animal friends, at least with the Flickies, because the Flicky actually had its own game, which is a long time ago.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if it'll work, but why not? Let's see. For me, here's my idea. Earthworm Jim, the return of Earthworm Jim returns, and it would be a game made in conjunction with the people over there at Playtonic. Hear me out. Hear me out. We know Earthworm Jim can do 2D. We had it with Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. Those games will forever be awesome, but let's keep it real. If there's a character that really, really deserves to be put into a 3D space, it's Earthworm Jim. So here's my pitch, okay? The game opens with Jim once again, like basically, it's been 20-something odd years, and Jim is like sitting on a chair with a fake gray beard on and everything. He's like, well, I saved the universe. I did everything. Now I'm retired on the farm, raising giant termites. Literally, his farm is getting eaten around him by the giant termites. he's like, yep, I'm done adventuring. He's like, yep, it's peaceful. Yep. And I'm bored. And he jumps out of his rocking chair. Bored. And then from out of the sky, this mysterious comet comes down and smashes into him and knocks him out of his suit. And this is where you find out the beard that was on him is fake, because it falls off. And he's an earthworm, just a normal earthworm, because he fell out of his suit. And his suit's been damaged. So the beginning of the game is basically like Jim as a worm using his wormy abilities to get the pieces of his suit back together so he can get it working. And then you discover that what hit him is not a comet, but was a weapon. And that basically various assassins from around the galaxy are coming to kill Earthworm Jim. And so basically, he's basically trying to figure out, like, why are they trying to kill him? Who hired these assassins to kill him? And trying to survive long enough to save himself. But the only thing he does know is that it's tied into his suit. That's all he knows, and that's it. And I think,
you know what? Could they use characters from
past games?
Not from past games, from the cartoon show.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Good. And I think what would be really cool would be like essentially like the neat hook of this game was, yes, Jim can use different weapons, but here's the cool hook. In the game, he can get that he can go to these various parts of the open world map of the different worlds. Where there's a garage run by that pup. I forgot his name. The dog.
Crap.
I forgot his name, but you know the dog I'm talking about. Like in Earthworm Jim 2, if his puppies drop, he gets pissed and kills you and attacks you. But they're like, there's these, like, if you rescue his pups, he opens up his garage where he basically can pimp out Earthworm Jim's suit. And as a matter of fact, you can get different like layouts and like upgrades and like skins for the suit, which change how different weapons work. So like if Earthworm Jim gets like the hot rod suit, like his attacks get like fire elemented and light enemies on fire and cause them to, you know, oh Jesus, oh God.
That dog's name is Peter Puppy.
Yeah. Peter. Okay, yeah, Peter Puppy. So basically, like, I really do think that would be, like, the suits have their own elemental affinities or little special abilities. Like, Jim can get a suit that basically lets him walk through toxic gas, or a suit that lets him makes him immune to electricity. So like, let's say there's an area that, like an industrial area that's like got lots of electricity. Instead of it doing damage to him, it actually does nothing. It actually enhances his attacks or something like that. And then you can use these suit upgrades. Like once you leave that world, you can use those suit upgrades anytime you want to. So you can kind of pimp your suit out and like go around shocking people or electrifying people. And Jim's melee weapon wouldn't be a pistol whip or anything. It would be him like he did in 2D games. Yeah, he uses his head as a whip. Because Earthworm Jim's always been so surreal. So I mean, yeah, you'd have obviously the ice world, but then you discover that the ice world isn't an ice world at all. You're inside of some poor bastard's body and he's got a cold, and that's why it's frozen. And then when you warm it up, you find out that river that you thought was a frozen river is a big thing of snot.
Yeah.
Well, hell, I mean, they already had that in the first Earthworm Jim. You fight a guy named Snot, so why not? Yeah. Look, this is Earthworm Jim. This is not.
Let's go all out.
Yeah, go all out. It's Earthworm Jim. Might as well make it be what it's always been.
Yep. Oh, you know what? Now, I actually do remember there was another another character or franchise that I would like to see coming back. Well, make it two of them. It's one from Crystal Dynamics that they've made the Gex series. That I actually did enjoy. Well, I've only played the second game on the N64, but from what I've played, it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'd like another Gex game. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, like, here's the way I feel about Gex. I like Gex the game. I really do. I didn't have a 3DO, but my friend had a 3DO, and I played the original Gex. It's not very good. The two games on the N64 are much better. Enter the Gecko and Gex 3 are much better games than Gex on the 2D Gex games, but you know.
Okay.
I'm just saying that they're better. They're better, like quality wise. They're better games.
All right.
It's one of those things where it's like, this is way better than it has any business being. It's ridiculous. like Gex Enter the Gecko is kind of interesting. Area 73, no one's even mentioned Simon Belmont. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I would love to see a Simon Belmont game. Simon Belmont brought back. I would love to see a Simon Belmont brought back because, in my opinion, Simon Belmont is the most badass Belmont ever. Alexander, Julian, Just.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Hold a candle to Simon.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Simon Belmont.
Well, I mean, I was kind of going for third-party characters that haven't, like, Castlevania has had games in recent memory. They weren't very good in my opinion, but they've existed. But we haven't had shit from Earthworm Jim. So I was like, I'm gonna give some love to Jim. Golgo 13, Jill Valentine, Alex Kidd. I can go with everyone except Alex Kidd because he was never good. Tomba,
Yeah, I would say Alex Kidd. Yeah, back then, that game was as simplistic as you can get.
Well, the thing is
But
like,
go ahead.
well, the thing is that Alex Kidd was designed to go up against Mario, and
Oh, yeah.
let's just keep it real.
I'm telling.
Alex Kidd is not in the same league as a Mario. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for the mechanics they have in those games before they try to reinvent it.
Yeah,
so right now it could do much better.
Yeah, the first two Alex Kidd games aren't very good, but Alex Kidd 3 is pretty good, and Alex Kidd, the one where he's in Shinobi World, where it's like ninjas, is fun too. But
yeah.
That first Alex Kidd is rough. I mean, I remember I went to a friend's house. He's like, "I got a Master System. Fuck Nintendo." I was like, "Okay." And he came to my house and he played Super Mario Brothers 3. And then we went back to his place. We played Alex Kidd. I was like, man, fuck this game and fuck this system. I mean, I'm a little kid, and it wasn't F. It was like, forget this. I'm done. I'm never getting a Master System. I eventually got one for like $5 at a yard sale. Well, it was 15 plus the game at a yard sale. But oh god, no. Alex Kidd. There's a reason that Master System didn't do shit against the Nintendo Entertainment System, because of Alex Kidd.
I would say that's it was the first game that you played with your friend, right?
No, there were other games on the system that I played, but Alex Kidd, Sega set up Alex Kidd to be their Mario for the Master System.
I meant when you played that game compared to Super Mario Brothers 3. It was the first game, or was it the second game you guys had?
The first one. It's the one. The first one is the one where like you're on. It kind of looks like Mario in the beginning, and like when you have boss fights, it's Jajin Ken or rock paper scissors, and not an actual fight. And like you can go into places, you get coins, and you can go into places and buy things like vehicles and stuff that you can use, and you punch blocks. I mean, it's.
Oh, come on, man! That's an unfair comparison. At least compared with the first Super Mario Brothers game.
Okay, fine then. Okay, Alex Kidd compared to the first Super Mario Brothers game isn't very good either. It's just not good. It's just. I'm like, Sega, no. There's a reason they went to Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, there's a reason. Okay, look, think about it. Nintendo's been rolling with Mario for 30-something years. Alex Kidd only had about 3. Think about that.
No, I thought it was. You know what? I thought it was just 2 years.
No, because the Master System was on the market overall as a competitive platform for like 3 years, because it came out it came out like 3 months, like 6 months after the Famicom in Japan. So basically it was like 3 years, and then like because the Famicom came out in Japan in like 86, 87.
Yeah, it was
or maybe it was 80. I want to say 86.
No, the Famicom, right?
Famicom, yeah. Not the NES, the Famicom.
No, it came out. It came out around 85.
Okay, fine then. Yeah. I know it was before I was born. But yeah, I should have said 85. Yeah, it was 85, right? And literally, the Sega Master System came out like 6 months after that, and it was on the market till like 89. So it had 3 years where they were like, "This Alex Kidd, it's gonna go up against that Mario, that plumber." And Mario said, "Oh, really? I'm going to take a pipe wrench and bust this monkey-faced kid in the face." And he did, too. He totally did. Like, every Alex Kidd game that came out on the Master System compared to what Nintendo was coming out with on their NES was like a joke. They're not bad games. It got better with each iteration, but I mean, not at the rate Mario was getting better with each iteration.
Yeah.
Like the jump from Mario to Mario 2, from Mario 2 to Mario 3. I mean, Mario pulled down his pants, and squatted his Italian hairy ass down and took a shit. he shit all over Bowser's kid. And then when he was finished, Sega said, "You're fired," and Alice Kid went home, and Sonic was there boinking his wife. he's like, what? How could this happen? And Sonic was like, "You're too slow. You're too slow."
Oh my gosh. You know what? I really, now that I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't mind seeing a game, well, not a compilation game, a game that that compiles all of Sega characters, and no, not a racing game, but something like what Nintendo did with Captain Rainbow.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, because we haven't seen Captain Rainbow do anything, so
yeah.
Why not?
All right, now. Yeah. Now, my second pick was an SNK character. And no, it's not Terry Bogard, even though
Geese Howard.
Really, not the Fatal Fury series. I'm actually going outside of that this time. It would be a character from the Cycle Soldiers. I would like to see a Cycle Soldier game with Athena Asamiya. And no, I do not want that PS1 game that starts with that same character, but as high school girl in the high school games. No, I actually want to see at least a beat 'em up type of game with her and Kensu just fight it out in the streets. Then even go so far to go. How can I say this? Not galactic proportions. No, more like well, let's just it tiptoes in Greek mythology, since Athena's counterpart is actually the goddess of oh crap, now I forgot what.
Didn't they do an anime about Fatal Fury? Not Fatal Fury. SNK, where like Terry Bogard is like fighting some guy named Ares, and his the female character dies in the end, but she's gonna be reborn. I remember seeing this anime, and it's got like the whole like Greek mythology thing going on here.
I think that would be that would be Fatal Fury 3, but the whole reincarnation thing, I'm not sure where that one came in. But I can't say anything because I haven't seen that. Out of all the 3 anime films, that was the one I did not get to see, because yeah, it took it for some reason. Someone made some choice to have some creative liberties with that. I digress. But yeah, I would like to see another Cycle Soldier game. Yeah, you know what? Probably not just a beat 'em up, but it would be a beat 'em up / platformer.
So like 2D.
It could be 2D,
like straight up 2D platforming, because 3D platforming with jumping and like trying to go places is kind of a hard in a beat 'em up.
Yeah, that could be very well the case, but I would say if they could, but it can be pulled off if it's done right.
I guess.
And the thing is, like, I can actually, I would put it like this: say the beat 'em up part of the game is mostly Asuna Asamiya actually doing kung fu powered psychic abilities with Kensu, but let's just say, and I don't know how I would do this, but I would have it have it like it will kind of be like some kind of in an interdimensional way that the platforming would be would take on the Greek mythology, where this incarnation of Athena, which is the goddess form, can actually do platforming and still well, it would suppress the beat 'em up side of the game, but would still have some sort of function that she can that she can do some offensive move with her trusty sword and shield.
The game you're describing sounds kind of like those those Varia games. Those Varia games that were on the, like, one of them was on the SNES, like a couple of them were on the TurboGrafx 16.
You know what? Now that you mention it, that could be it.
From Falcom.
Let's see if there.
But while you're saying that, Yin Yang Yao told us it was Peter Puppy. Yao Wowie. I'm sorry if I butchered your names, sir or madam. I enjoyed Kid Chameleon. I wouldn't mind another entry. Yeah, Kid Chameleon was fun. You also said ActRaiser. I would love another ActRaiser. And it could totally work. And Trinell83 says, I would like to see Capcom use the Dragon's Dogma engine as a base, tweak it a bit for use for a new Onimusha title. That'd be interesting. That would be a really kind of dark Onimusha, because Dragon's Dogma is a dark game. I mean, it is dark as hell. No, when I say it's dark, I mean like the lighting in it is just really dark. It's a dark game. It's not a very, the ambient light is not very luminous. It's very, like, you go into a cave in that game, it's like someone turned off the lights. It's very dark. Yeah, I could see a Dragon's Dog. I could see them taking that engine. Personally, I just wish they made a sequel to Dragon's Dogma. Maybe give it a bigger scope. Maybe tweak the combat a little bit to make all the classes viable in combat for in game, so that, like, if you play as a healer, you're not gonna fucking suck. As a mage, you're not gonna fucking suck. If you play as an assassin, you're not gonna suck. Like, every class should be useful. Maybe let you mix and match class abilities a little bit better, and yeah, that'd be a great game.
Yeah, that is. That would be.
And some joker said Titus from Final Fantasy X. Look,
no, he's just.
You could do. You're just joking, of course. Yeah, you could do Titus from Final Fantasy X if it's a beat 'em up where I get to play as Sabine from Final Fantasy VI and do like multiple suplexes and pile drivers on them. That'd be fair. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Ha, what are you doing?
Man, not even playing as Titus. You lost it.
I hate Titus.
I mean, the heck, if they really find a way to redesign the character, I mean, completely. That's actually good.
I just don't like Titus. Right. Like, Square Enix really wants to. If Square Enix wants to get out of the financial hole, here's all they need to do: re-release Final Fantasy X, call it Director's Cut, and take out Titus. Just take out Titus entirely, and make the main character Yuna. And maybe you could have like Yuna meet up with Waka, Lulu, Tiny. I forgot the thief girl's name, Riku.
Yeah, I think it was Riku.
Yeah, Riku. You just have that game, because really Yuna is way more interesting as a character than Titus, who just really all he does. My dad was mean to me. Man, sit your ass. I ought to beat your ass myself, bitch.
God.
I'm sorry, but really, I mean, okay, look. the first 20 hours of that game, no, 30 hours of that game, all you hear is just him whining about his dad. I mean, did you feel like jumping into the code and strangling him to death? It's like, look, we all have hard shit.
Yeah.
You need to shut up, bro.
What I've seen.
Bro. Way to go, bro. No more Mystic Knight overpower and Dragon's Dogma. Really, Trinell 83, you know what I found to be really broken in Dragon's Dogma wasn't the Mystic Knight combo. It was the fighter, the normal like sword and shield fighter crossed with the assassin. Because basically the assassin had the highest attack in the game. And plus they can use bows and dual daggers and like normal sword and shield combo. And then you have you basically, change into that, you level up your attack, and then you equip a really powerful weapon, and you just destroy everything.
Dang. That's overpowerful. That was really overpowerful. And then what else? What else? So any other comments?
Yeah, no, that's it. That was all the stuff from Dragon's Dogma. I have literally there are no other games that I could think of right now, like right off the top of my head, that I would like to see brought back. Old characters brought back.
Okay.
Maybe Athena.
Wait, what?
I'd like to see Athena brought back.
Oh, that's
Athena. Athena is the sequel to Feck Xanadu on the NES.
Oh,
yeah, I would like to see, or maybe no, it's the prequel. I would like to see. I would like to see that brought back. Like Falcom has all these games.
Oh wait, does that company still exist?
Falcom? Yeah, they still make Falcom makes East.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, they make those East games. They still exist. I mean, they might not. They aren't the same company that they were back in the day, but they still make certain games. So yeah, I'd like to see East brought back.
Heck, East has been brought back so many times. No, wait. I should take it back. I am not surprised that they haven't made any game, or at least the East series on a Nintendo console, because they. Wait,
well, there was like one East. There was one. There was East game on the NES, and then there was another East game on the SNES. Well. Yeah, there was an East game on the NES and SNES. But the thing about East is that the control scheme for that game was ass, because the way you fought enemies, you ran into them with your sword out. You just ran into them, and you take damage with every single attack.
Yeah, it has to be you shouldn't be really in front of your enemy. You gotta be like offshoot, like one half of your side has to touch it, which is
it's
with the sword.
But even before that, it's like there's one that's in 2D where you're like, it's so hard to hit an enemy. Like it's like a 2D platformer, but with RPG elements. It's just like, I mean, I'm glad that they're remaking those games now. That they've remade those games and put them on PC and PS3 and Xbox 360 and stuff, because they're much better in modern days. But you can't say, oh, well, we didn't know how to make a 2D game that had action and platforming, because The Legend of Zelda, you can say whatever you want to about The Legend of Zelda 2. that game has 2D combat. It works. You can't say, oh, well, we can't make, on the SNES, they were like, well, we can't make an overhead 3D game where you have to fight enemies. Link to the Past, motherfucker.
Well, maybe it's not because they didn't know how to do it. It's more like they don't want to blatantly copy the way Nintendo did. So,
look, man. No, I get what you're saying.
If you're going to say something like that, which they have so far that I've known, they haven't. I would give them props, but yeah, I'll give props at least that. But yes, go on.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that when something works, like it's universal. Like I mean, that's why Ys for the SNES is not a very good game, because the combat is just a damn mess. Like people are like, well, if you got to know how to attack, no. See, we've already fixed this problem. It's called the Link to the Past. That game came out shortly after the SNES was released, and you know what? Let me let you on a little secret. Combat's really easy in that game. And it has a similar art style and design to that Ys game that came out later. So there's really no excuse for this game to play this badly. Or, remember when Street Fighter 2 came out and it was really popular, and then everyone wanted to make a 2D fighter, but they didn't want to use Street Fighter 2's general outlay for controls. And so those games wound up sucking, because Street Fighter 2's outlay, even though it's old, but it works. It gets the job done. As a matter of fact, that is the standard for controlling fighting games nowadays. You want to know why? Because they fixed it. They got it right. You see what happens? They got the shit right, okay? You can do your little spin on it, but they got the shit right, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that one, though. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where they're going. I really don't know. But here's what I will say, though.
Oh wait, are you?
We have one other topic. If there was one current third-party game from game that's either coming out or has come out this gen, that you wish, like, maybe it didn't do as well as it could have, or maybe they need to do a sequel or something, and it doesn't have to be just this gen. It could be in the age of modern gaming, so CD-based media, downloading, stuff like that. Give your announcement, and then we'll get to the end. We'll go over any questions anyone may have, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, someone has Final Fantasy Tactics, Shining Force Return. Yeah, I'd like to see Shining Force, because those Shining Force beat 'em up, slash 'em ups on the PS2 were fun, but meh. Square remembered the Mana series. Yeah, if only they'd put it on the Switch. Whatever happened to Quintet? They went out of business, man. That's what happened to Quintet. Their games didn't sell well enough. ActRaiser was good. Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma. That's the Quintet trilogy. Robotrek. They also did Evo. They did a lot of really good games, but they just never sold well enough to make money. Ogre Battle. Oh yes, I would love another Ogre Battle, but unfortunately Square Enix owns that IP. They bought it when the company who made it, I want to say, I forgot the name, but they went out of business. So it's like their IP got bought by Square Enix, who were doing fucking nothing with it.
Yeah, that's. I wish that one would come. I wish that one would come back, but yeah, since
Baten Kaitos, yeah, I'd like to see another Baten Kaitos done by Monolith Soft, because that Baten Kaitos Origins was ass, and it wasn't done by Monolith Soft. Phantasy Star. Yeah, I'd like another Phantasy Star. Hell, I'll take another Phantasy Star Online if they actually bring it to fucking America. Because
oh snap! You know that was one I actually wanted to say.
Sega just will not bring stuff over. And Skies of Arcadia. Yeah, I'd like another Skies of Arcadia. But I don't want, like, if they did another Skies. Well, no, what I was going to say is if they do another Skies of Arcadia, I don't want them to make a sequel that has nothing to do with the original. I would want a direct sequel. Like, I would want it to just pick up from the end of the first game. Just more adventures. And he's got to get the crew back together. And, like, maybe in this one they get to find out to where all those ultra advanced civilizations went, that, like, the people that weren't wiped out by the Gygas, like, maybe they went to those moons. Maybe there's these awesome new, like, ultra advanced civilizations on the moon. So, like, they have to build better ships to go into space. Like, that would be a really interesting game. You could have base building where they build bases like you had in the original Skies of Arcadia. It could work.
Yeah.
But we're talking modern games.
Let's see what else.
Well, you went first last time, so I'll go first this time.
I can't believe I didn't say. You know what? This game could be on the top, or at least the franchise. It's the. I'm not sure if it's actually. I'm still not sure if it actually released in the West Side, but it's basically the Adventures of Valkyrie, Legend of Tom. At least that one was for the NES, which never got to the West. But I actually would like to see that come. Have they made that recently? No, probably not. But at least I would love to see that franchise be done in this day and age. Namco, you go ahead and do it, man. You got, to be honest, you got so many IPs you're not using.
Well, that's all the Japanese companies. Sega has IPs they're not doing shit with. Capcom. Hell, even Nintendo.
Yeah.
But at least you'll get, from Nintendo, you'll get Smash Brothers that'll have those characters or something. But
yeah, but then even with Nintendo, it's kind of an outlier because, well, I don't know if it's just my eyes that's seeing this or my perspective, but at least Nintendo is doing more IPs than the rest of them, which is kind of weird. But even then, I would still give the third parties that have so many IPs some slack, because they're not their own console manufacturer. But come on, guys, at least you know mix it up a little if you can.
Yeah.
If you guys can.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so for me, a modern franchise that I think needs to be brought back, and not the way Capcom is doing it, is Okami. We need an Okami 2. And I know Okami Den, but Okami Den really isn't an Okami 2. It's more like a side story.
I thought that was more.
Okami Den, like, for me, Okami Den is kind of like the Captain Toad's treasure tracker to Okami's, you know? Like, Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is a fun game. It takes place in the same universe as Mario 3D World. But Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is not a substitute for a Mario game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel about Okami Den. It's like, Okami Den is not bad. It's a good game, but it's not an Okami game. Because first of all, it was on a handheld, and you just cannot have the scope of Okami on a fucking handheld. I'm sorry, you can't. And if Capcom got their shit together, we get an Okami. Matter of fact, just let Platinum Studios do it. Let the people who made the first one make this one, and just say, look, man, we're gonna make Okami 2. We're gonna make Okami 2. we'll do a bundle where if you pre-order it, you get Okami HD and Okamiden HD along with this game, and it's gonna be on PC, PS4, Xbox. Well, fuck Xbox, PC, PS4, and Switch. Because really, the people who are gonna play it, who want Okami, are not gonna buy it on an Xbox. Let's just knock that out the way.
Yeah.
I mean, not to throw shade on you people. Whatever happened to the devs? Okay, I want my Baton Kato's, Phantasy Star, Skies of Arcadia. I know, me too. Sonic Lost World is the modern game. I want a sequel where they fix their mistake. Damn right, Trinell.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. Sonic Boom should not have existed. It should have gone Sonic Lost World, then Sonic Lost World 2, where they refined the formula and made it better. But Sega got scared because they're fucking idiots.
I mean, dang it, that's basically what Nintendo did with Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy 2.
Well, Mario Galaxy is a little bit different. Mario Galaxy was more like, wow, this game is really good. But I think there's some more ideas that I really want to put into that game that just didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do it here. Like, Mario Galaxy is a good game by itself. If there was no Mario Galaxy 2, Mario Galaxy would still be a good game. Sonic Lost World is a good game, but there's some flaws with that title.
But yeah, there's some hits and misses there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
You did brought up your own, right? I think that was Okami.
Yeah, it was Okami. I think Okami should be brought back. It's a modern franchise. It's not graphically intensive. If you put it on a Nintendo console, you know it's gonna sell. Because it's basically Legend of Zelda with a wolf.
Well, yeah.
It's literally the Legend of Zelda with a wolf. It has really engaging boss fights, way more engaging than the boss fights that I've like. I'm gonna, you know what? I hate to say this. I had more engaging boss fights in Okami than I had in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I said it. What you gonna do about it?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, stopping in mid-fight to paint a bomb or use or paint vines to hold the enemy down so that I could hit their weak spot was more engaging to me than the shit that I had in Breath of the Wild, which looked gorgeous and it was fun, but it was those boss fights were just meh.
Yeah, I would say Okami is definitely way out there with the mechanics that they came with. So yeah, can't knock it for that.
Plus, how many games have a wolf that can pile drive people, or a special attack where you lay an exploding turd?
Wolf Link in Twilight Princess could have been that second, but no,
man,
fell short.
Look, Eiji Aonuma is edgy, but he ain't that edgy. Okami has a taunt move called Golden Rage, where Amaterasu pees on enemies, and Brown Rage, where she lays an exploding turd. And it does massive damage. I remember that. It does like if you hit an enemy with it, they drop 2 demon fangs. It's awesome. It's a great way to farm demon fangs. Like, you taunt an enemy, you do enough damage to get them to lose their color, and then you use their paint weakness in order to get them to drop all their demon fangs. So in total, if you hit an enemy like that, and normally they drop 3 demon fangs when you hit them with the right technique, you get 5 demon fangs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh snap! Namco did make did release a Valkyrie game, although it was an upgrade of the original, and it's on cell phones.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, it's on cell phones. Yeah. It's like Namco doesn't want to make money. Okami Weister20 says Okami 2 could work on the Switch by using the right Joy-Con touchscreen for the Celestial Brush. Yeah. I would prefer if it just used the touchscreen, or like you could use the Joy-Cons as Wiimote nunchuck, kind of like Okami did on the Wii. That'd be cool. And I'd totally play that game. That'd be fucking awesome. I'd play that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Would it happen?
Heck, if they would actually make a Okami game, I can't believe I'm gonna go so far with this, but they might actually with the Switch, they might actually make a game that an Okami game that can have 2 paintbrushes.
Yeah, you could technically do that. Yeah, you could technically do that. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if you're in a situation that there's multiple enemies, and they're positioned in such a way that you can't attack all at once with just one brush. No, yeah, you might be forced to use 2 brushes at the same time.
I mean, that could work, except when you went into to use the Celestial Brush in Okami, time slowed down anyway. So, and you could like move time around. You could move the camera around in order to hit certain enemies. So it was never an issue there being too many enemies for you to use the brush. It was more like, your only limit was the ink. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I would say maybe limit the time in a way that you can't use just one brush, but yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah, but I mean,
but then there are also ways that that you can that you can activate some sort of a special ability that you can use 2 brushes at the same time to have a greater effect. Yeah, how about that?
I could see that. I mean, like, either way, I would just like to see Okami brought back, because it's a good game. It deserves more accolades, because, like I said, Okami is one of the best Legend of Zelda games that I've ever played that isn't the Legend of Zelda. Like, it literally is. It has an awesome protagonist, an interesting story. And here's the thing, despite its art style, it's surprisingly dark. Like, there are parts of Okami that are like, God damn.
I've seen some stuff.
That is, I can't believe that is fucked up. That is seriously fucked up. Like, don't let the childish aesthetics fool you. It is totally fucked up. I also expect Okami 2 to be a flop by Capcom, depending on how many units it sold. If they put it,
where it's sold.
Yeah, this is Rafael Marquez, or sorry, Pinky Don. Basically, Pinky Don, if they like, okay, if they put too much money in the budgeting, but I think that if they used a lot of the assets from Okami HD, which they're already doing another HD version of Okami, so they have the assets that are in the right form, and then they go to Platinum, who's known for making games on a budget, and they say, hey guys, look, we do not have the expertise to make an Okami 2. You guys are originally Clover.
All of them,
you guys are Clover.
Because all of them left, and you guys are it.
Well, I mean, like, no, they are the expertise that made Okami. So they literally, the talent left. So they go back to the talent and like, hey guys, we don't have the expertise to make this. You guys are the expertise who made the first one. Could you please make this one? You know, we'll give you a budget of like $5 million, maybe 5-10 million, And here are the assets for Okami HD. So you have an HD Amaterasu, you have an HD Isin, you have an HD character model, stuff like that. And then all they'd have to do is just minor work to get it to work. Maybe make it kind of like related to Okamiden, where Okami's son grows up, and so basically, Amaterasu's son grows up, and he's the new Okami, and like you have a new adventure. Maybe you could have him go to a steampunk city where like it's set way in the future, but like it's like a Japanese mythological future, so it's like a steampunk future city. And like, you've got moon people who are walking around because now they live in Japan, and like make it a little bit more techno. I mean, it could work. It could totally work. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Anything else before we wrap things up? I think we've exhausted the 2 topics I wanted to get to. Plus, we did talk about third parties that we like, that are good, that we totally. Any topic.
I don't think so, but hey, I'll plug someone's game that's called that I've seen at Gamescom, which is nine Parchments. To me that looks like a very interesting game, and I think they did say that that it's basically a 4-player. It looks like a beat 'em up style game, but instead of actually punching and kicking, which actually they do, but it's more like you play as wizards and cast magic.
So it's like Gauntlet Legends.
It's like Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah.
Although in 3D. So, yeah.
Well, Gauntlet Legends 64 was in 3D.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yes, it was in 3D. Except, I mean, obviously this is going to be a higher technology, so it'll probably have more content. Although Gauntlet Legends on the N64 had a lot of content. That was a huge fucking game for a 64 megabit cartridge. But yeah. So you're plugging 9 Parchments for.
So yes, everyone, keep an eye on that game.
All right. So I'm going to plug a game from Gamescom that no one's talking about, but I'm going to talk about it. Biomutant from the former Just Cause devs. The game is kind of like an action RPG where you create a character that is a mutated animal in a far future Earth where humanity has disappeared, and basically you can get points and mutate your character, gaining new abilities and skills. You can play as a little cute raccoon type thing with a sword and a gun, busting caps and fools' asses while slicing and dicing stuff. I mean, really awesome looking game. I'll put a link to the gameplay in the description once this video is over. Stay tuned next week.
Hey, is that on which day was that game was shown?
Biomutant? I don't remember. It was one of those things that I saw on my feed, but I was like, that looks really interesting. If you go to Google and Biomutant, you can find footage of it. It's really awesome. In my opinion, it looks really awesome.
Yeah, because there was one day that I still haven't watched, which I missed, which was the 5th day, the last one. So yeah, that one could have passed from me.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's not coming to the Switch, but I have a gaming PC, so I'll be fine, folks.
Okay.
Nothing ever comes to my console of choice. But anyway,
don't say nothing.
Well, if you're a Nintendo gamer, third-party games don't come to your console, and if they do, there's some gimp shit. But that's neither here nor there. So here's what's coming down the pipeline, folks. Next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. to 8:30, we'll be covering Star Wars in the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish. If you are a Star Wars fan, you are invited to join. We will be talking about Star Wars, Actually, to take this quote, to paraphrase this quote from Spaceballs, we'll be talking about Star Wars, the lunchbox, Star Wars, the coloring book, Star Wars, the flamethrower, Star Wars, the video game, Star Wars, the comic book, Star Wars, the movies, Star Wars, the cartoons. We will be talking about our first Star Wars experience.
I still can't believe I actually enjoyed that bad.
What, Spaceballs? Yeah, Spaceballs. Yeah. In my opinion, Spaceballs is a better
that was definitely
Star Wars Episode 8.
That was definitely a parody done right, which I...
Spaceballs, a force more powerful than any other. Is it just force? No. Merchandising. Merchandising. Hey, stupid, what are you doing? The Vulcan neck pinch. No, that's not how you do it. You gotta do it where the shoulder meets the neck. Like this. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Spaceballs, one of my favorite films of all time. We might even talk about Spaceballs since it is a Star Wars parody. Look forward to that. It's the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be September. Here, let me look that up. That'll be September 2nd. Will be the first day of our Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish. So this is our third episode. Our second episode on Godzilla was great. I advise you to go watch it. We talk about Gojira, and it bleeds into Star Wars, which is why the third episode is about Star Wars at the very end. The first episode was about Star Trek, and episode 4 might be about Marvel's comics. Well, actually, DC versus Marvel. We will talk about our favorite powerhouses and all that fun stuff, but that's for another 2 weeks. And of course, we have BS Busters next Sunday as well. I don't know what it's going to be about. Possibly.
We're probably gonna hear some news.
Yeah, some bullshit will pop up. You know, look, I'm keeping an eye on Capcom and Ubisoft because some shit always comes up with them.
Because here's the thing, you would think there was going to be some period of time that these things are not going to pop up, but my goodness, I was proven wrong.
Yeah, they can't help themselves. You know, they're like a crackhead. You know, it's like, hey man, why you take that crack? I can't help it. I need crack. Okay. Hey Capcom, why you keep on messing up? I can't help it. I'm a fuck up. But yeah, so that's the end of this episode. We actually went under time. So with that, peace, arrivederci, good night, and oh yes, and if you would like to be a member of one of these podcasts, leave your request in the comment section of this podcast once it's all fun and done, and I'll get back to you.